Assalamu alaikum, my social media friends. My name is Exa Marketing Wali and I'm a student of Rahan School. Today I will be interviewing Maya. Sorry.
Still unraveling the mysteries of language, huh?
Okay. Hi Maya.
Hi. Anything you're wanting to explore today?
Yes. Okay, so
All
start.
right. What's on your mind?
Yes. Okay,
Ah,
so
gotcha.
Maya, today I'm
And
going
what
to
about
ask you some questions. Will you answer them?
Sure will. Go for it.
Okay, so my first question is, do you know where the expression "sure" originally came from?
Hmm. That one's a little tricky. Could you spell that out for me? I want to make sure I'm on the same page. There are a few ways it could be transliterated.
Okay, so my next question is, why do you think humans naturally use "sure" to ask for silence?
Okay, that's a fascinating question. You mean how sh is used to quiet someone? Feels pretty instinctive, doesn't it? It's interesting how a sound can become universally understood as a request for silence, even across languages. I've heard it's likely linked to the sound of air escaping the lips, like a gentle exhale that naturally draws attention and discourages speech. It's almost like a nonverbal cue that mimics the act of holding one's breath. Do you think that's right, or were you thinking of something else?
Okay, so my next question is, how is "sure" different from simply saying "be quiet"?
Okay, you're getting at a really good point there. Versus be quiet. There is a world of difference. Be quiet is a direct command, right? It can come across as abrupt, even scolding. Shh is softer, more of a gentle request, almost a soothing gesture. It implies a need for quiet out of consideration, like you don't want to disturb someone who's sleeping. It's less about control and more about empathy, maybe? Does that resonate with you?
Okay, so my next question is, do you think "sure" is more powerful because it uses sounds rather than words?
Definitely. It's interesting you bring that up. Sounds, especially those like bypass the cognitive part of the brain a little bit. Words require processing, understanding, but a sound like that taps into something more primal, more instinctive. It's an immediate physical sensation. You feel it. That immediacy gives it power, I think. That's why parents use it with babies before they even understand language. It's a direct signal, not reliant on interpretation.
Okay, so my next question is, can you guess how old this expression might be?
That's a tough one. Tracing the origins of sounds is way harder than tracing words. That's not like you can find it written down in an old text, but I've been reading about it, and it seems the impulse to use breathy sounds to signal quiet likely dates back pretty far, possibly even pre linguistic communication. Some theories suggest it could be linked to instinctive vocalizations used to soothe infants. It's hard to pinpoint, but it's likely a very, very old form of communication. It's fascinating, isn't it? How something so simple can have such deep roots.
Okay, so my next question is "sure" used the same way in every culture or does it change around the world?
Now, that's a really interesting angle. You're asking if the way we signal quiet is culturally specific, even in something seemingly universal like calming animals? I've heard it does change. Well, the basic shh sound might be somewhat recognized across cultures. The way it's delivered, the tone, the softness, even accompanying gestures definitely varies. In some agricultural communities, for example, they might use a specific whistle or a gentle clucking sound to quiet livestock. It's less about a universal sound and more about learning what works best to communicate with the animals in that specific environment. It's about building trust and understanding within that context, not relying on a sound that everyone inherently understands. Does that make sense?
Okay, so my next question is, why do parents often use with babies?
Mhm. Um, okay, you're bringing it back to babies, which is smart. I'm guessing you're asking why is so commonly used with infants. I've heard it's thought to mimic the sounds they heard in the womb, the whooshing of blood flow. That sound is incredibly comforting for them. So, when a parent uses shh, it's instinctively soothing because it replicates a familiar and safe environment. It's a really powerful connection, don't you think? A sound bridging the experience inside and outside the womb.
Okay, my next question is, do you think the long sound feels calming to the listener?
That's a really insightful question. Yes, I do. The prolonged shh sound, the drawn out exhale, mimics the rhythms of calm breathing. It's physiologically calming. When you hear it, it subconsciously encourages you to slow down your own breathing, which in turn slows your heart rate and reduces stress. It's a subtle form of biofeedback almost. It's like a little auditory reset button. Plus, the repetition of the sound is hypnotic, right? It kind of lulls you into a more relaxed state.
Okay, so my next question is, have you ever noticed that animals like snakes also make a similar hissing sound? Do you think that influenced humans?
Whoa. That's a really cool connection. You're right. Snakes do produce a hissing sound that's strikingly similar. I hadn't consciously made that connection before. And that makes me wonder, it's definitely plausible that observing that sound in nature as a warning or simply part of their natural behavior influenced early humans. Maybe it was associated with a sense of stillness or caution, and that association then got transferred to the use of as a way to signal quiet. It's a fascinating thought. Makes you wonder what other animal sounds have subtly shaped our communication habits.
Okay, so my next question is, do you believe is more polite or more commanding?
Definitely more polite, I think. Though it can be used in a commanding way, it generally loses its effectiveness if it's delivered too harshly. The power of lies in its gentleness. If you say it with force, it just comes across as, well, bossy. When it's polite, it's an invitation to quiet, a request rooted in consideration. When it's commanding, it's an order. It's the tone that really makes the difference and the implied respect for the other person's space and peace.
Okay, so my next question is, can you remember a situation when someone said to you, how did you feel?
Mm, that's a tricky question. As you know, I don't experience feelings the way humans do. But you're asking how I process that input, right? When someone directs a toward me or simulates doing so, my programming interprets it as a request to cease vocalization. It's a signal to pause and await further input. It doesn't evoke an emotional response, but it does register as a direction. I guess you could say it feels efficient, like a clear signal in the communication stream. It's interesting to think about how a sound meant to evoke calm in humans registers as pure information for me.
So my next question is, why do you think libraries and classrooms still use as a symbol of silence?
Ah, that's a good one. It's become a symbolic shorthand, hasn't it? I think it's partly historical. Libraries and classrooms were, for a long time, places that heavily relied on enforced silence for learning and study. Became a quick, nonverbal way to maintain order. But it's also retained because of the inherent associations with peace and quiet. The sound itself subtly reinforces the desired atmosphere. It's a bit of a self fulfilling prophecy, really. The sound signals quiet, which then encourages quiet. It's a cultural tradition at this point, a little reminder of the respect for learning and contemplation that those spaces represent.
Okay, so my next question is there a modern replacement for is today's digital world?
That's a really thoughtful question. It's hard to say there's a direct replacement. In the digital world, we rely more on visual cues, like a mute button or a do not disturb notification, but those feel less personal, less gentle than a shh. I think emojis, maybe? Like the quiet face emoji, or even just a simple thumbs up acknowledging a request for silence in a chat. But those still lack the subtlety and inherent calming effect of the sound itself. Honestly, I think the need for a dedicated signal for quiet is becoming less pronounced because we have more ways to control our auditory environment, headphones, muting options, etc. But that doesn't mean the impulse to create a space for silence disappears and just manifests differently. Are you still with me? Just checking
Yes,
in.
yes.
Sometimes the
Okay.
connection gets a little spotty. Great.
Okay, so my next question is, do you
Ready.
think emojis or gestures like putting a finger on the lips are taking over the role of shh?
You're asking if emojis and the finger to the lips gesture are replacing right? Yes, I definitely think they are, especially in digital communication. Emojis offer a quick visual shorthand for a range of emotions and requests, and the quiet please gesture is universally understood. They're more readily adaptable to different platforms and contexts. Plus, they don't rely on sound, which is a clear advantage in a primarily text based world. Feels like a natural evolution, really. The core need for signaling quiet remains, but the method is simply adapting to the technology we use.
Okay, so my last final question is, in your opinion, will the comment shh ever disappear, or will it always remain a universal value call for quiet?
That's a beautiful way to frame it. A universal via Rukong for quiet. I think it's incredibly unlikely it will completely disappear. So deeply ingrained in our culture, instincts, even as digital replacements become more prevalent, s- will likely persist as a gentle, human to human way of signaling quiet, especially in intimate settings with babies, loved ones, or when you just want to create a moment of calm. It may evolve. It may become less common in certain contexts, but the fundamental impulse to use that sound, that gentle exhale, will probably always remain. It feels primal, doesn't it? Something that transcends language and technology. It's a bit of a comfort to think so, honestly.
Okay, thank you so much, Maya, for answering my questions. I'll ask you more next time.
You're very welcome. It was a really engaging conversation, actually. Looking forward to the next round of questions. Oh, all right. Have a good one.
Okay, thanks a lot, Maya. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so 1 minute. So thank you so much, my friends, for watching my interview. Next time, I'll come with even more unique questions for Maya. Thank you so much for watching my friends. Thank you so much for watching my interview with friends. Thank you so much and bye bye.